Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it seems it got even worse for the cruise ship that got caught in the storm. We have 4 passengers that were on Tony's group cruise on the Carnival celebration who were arrested getting off the ship. We also have the cruise port of Southampton, where a report came out saying that the cruise ships are not using the shore power that's available to them because only 71 ships used it over the course of a year. But it doesn't go on to explain the reasons why. So first off, let me just say I'm a little disappointed with Celebrity Cruise Lines. They had a little bit of a contest out there where you could send in your name, the name of their next cruise ship, in the Edge class. What would they name the next one? So if you think about the naming, it kind of goes in progression. So the first one was the Edge, as in the cutting edge of technology and living and excitement. And then they went with the apex predator, right? The apex, that's the best of the best. So it's leveling it up. And then it went to the beyond, going beyond everybody else. And now they're bringing out the Celebrity Ascent. When you ascend, you're ascending everybody else. That's like your goal in life, is to ascend above all else. And so I said, well, the next one should be even better, right? You got to do that progression. And I said, kind of like Ascent is kind of like what I thought of, but I thought of transcendence, right? The ultimate goal of life is to transcend beyond our human spirit and transcend into energy and life and goodness, etc. Well, they came out with the new name, and it's Excel. We're excelling at what we do. I think Edge, Apex, Beyond, Ascent are above Excel. Myself, I think Excel should have been the first one, if you think about it. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that name. I don't think it follows the linear path that they were striving for. Excel is not above Ascension or Beyond. It is below that, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Excel should have been lower on that list? Because I do. All right, well, the Spirit of Discovery, as we all know, was caught in that storm. Now, we found out over 100 passengers were injured. Apparently, it was so bad at some points on this ship that passengers were actually screaming, terrified, as well as tables and chairs and everything flying all over the place. They also are literally, some passengers were texting their loved ones goodbye. You must be absolutely terrified that you're not going to make it if you're doing something like that. And I really feel for everybody on that cruise ship. And I still say there should have been a way not to be in that storm. They know where the weather is. They know how fast it's traveling. They know the width of it. They should have left earlier. They should have left earlier. It doesn't matter if you miss cruise ports as long as you're safe, right? As far as I'm concerned. I'd much rather not spend an extra day in Fiji or Canary Islands and run into a storm like this, because I'm not sure what happened there. But like I said, all these questions are being asked, and I'm sure eventually we'll get some answers with that. Next, we have there's 2 things going on right now. We have the shore power, and they ran a report. Shore power in Southampton Cruise Port Terminal area is being only used 71 times last year. Now, what they don't say, even though there are 500 ship visits a year, What they don't say is also that only one shore power is available right now. Now, they do have plans by 2025 to have 3 plug-ins ready, but they only have one right now. And one of the reasons for that is they don't have enough power running to the cruise port. Remember, a cruise ship is a skyscraper. So it takes a lot of energy to run the cruise ships, right? So they don't have enough power. And also another one of those reasons is the electricity bill that they're charging the cruise lines far exceeds the amount of money they pay just burning their own fuel while in port with one engine going. So it's more economical for them not to do that. And one environmental group out there right now is really pressing for the shore power. But I found it funny because there's 2 studies. One study that the environmental group brought out saying that Southampton had the highest CO2 emissions for cruise ships than anywhere else in Europe. Well, it is the largest cruise port in all of Europe with the most amount of cruise ships. So it will have the highest cruise ship CO2 emissions. Now, another study done actually by the city said that the CO2 emissions from the actual cruise ships actually does very little percentage of any of the CO2 emissions from the city itself. See, they didn't just study the cruise ship emissions, they studied the emissions overall. And that's the difference. It's easy to go to a certain cruise port that has a ton of cruise ships in it and say, hey, the cruise ship level CO2 in this area is really, really high. Well, yeah, they have more ships, right? That's like, you know, you have a full glass of water, a half glass of water, and you say, hey, this glass has much more water in it than this one does. Well, yeah, because there's more water in it. It's funny how you can spin something to look negative, but if you look at the overall study, it's really a very small percentage of what the actual CO2 emissions are in the area. I just found that really, really interesting. Next, we have credit card fraud on Tony's cruise. Tony, as you know, I was trying so hard to get there. I even had the Carnival representative I was on with Norwegian, when I was on the Norwegian ship. There was a Carnival representative on there with me. We had lunch together and dinner together. We had lots of conversations and everything. And we tried desperately to see how I can get a flight down there, and it just did not line up. And by the way, I checked my flight while I was there in the terminal, and guess what? The flight was delayed an hour and a half, which means I would have missed the cruise ship. So I was right not to go and take that flight. But anyway, Tony, did you know, buddy, had 4 people on board committing credit card fraud. Everything from expenditures on the ship to casino play. And it ranged from $2,700 to over $20,000 among these 4 people. In fact, one person was found with $11,000 in their suitcase from cashing out in the casino. Very easy to do, right? You load up $4,000 on your credit card, you spend $1,000 and you cash out for $3,000. Put the $3,000 in your suitcase, you go back the next day, you do the same thing. In 4 days, you get $11,000, $12,000. Unfortunately, they weren't their credit cards. They just were not their credit cards. We don't know now if it was other people's credit cards or if they were counterfeit credit cards. They were arrested getting off the ship and are now being held in bonds ranging from $16,000 all the way up to $26,000. But yeah, I bet you, Tony, I saw his latest video saying that he only played one night in the casino. I wonder if he knew that while he was there, somebody was being a high roller there and just trying to get away with stealing money on the Carnival celebration with false credit cards. Let me tell you, that's not a good idea because they run your credit card every single time you make an expenditure. So if you buy, they give you a limit of roughly, say, $100. And once you hit that limit of $100, they test your credit card to see if you still have enough money to pay for it. Well, if you're going in and putting thousands of dollars on expenditures, they're going to catch that really, really quickly. And they did in this case. And remember, even when you're getting off the ship, if your bill's not paid, your credit card has a problem, they will stop you. But because they knew that this was a fraudulent act, they had called the credit card companies, they had checked with the police, etc. They let them off the ship because they knew, hey, guess what? There's going to be 4 police officers waiting down there to arrest you. Was not a great plan. Well, let me know what you guys think. Have you ever suspected anybody out there of credit card fraud in a cruise terminal while you're there? Have you ever seen anybody arrested? I've seen many people arrested as I'm getting off the ship, and I always have this dreaded fear that they're coming for me. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.